a lot of times this meal will be the only meal of a senior's day. So a lot of times the senior will say to me that thank goodness for this entree because I go home and have a yogurt or I go home and have a bowl of cereal. And they'll be honest with me and they'll say to me that I no longer cook anymore because my husband passed away, my wife passed away, and my kids are out of the house. And this is my main meal. And many of our seniors come here to eat their main meal.
The average nursing home placement, is like 190,000, over 200,000 a year. I mean, imagine being able to not spend that, you know what I mean, and not have that spent on a senior, because you're able to have preventative measures in place within the community.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 45 Forward. I'm your host, Ron Roel. In today's episode, we're going to look behind the scenes of a dynamic senior center, the Westbury Senior Center on Long Island, Executive Director Andrea Padina and Assistant Director Robin Lombardo. Now, before we start, a little context. There are over 11,000 senior centers in America. They serve over 1 million adults every day, offering a wide variety of programs and services. Everything from meals and nutritional programs to social and recreational activities to fitness and wellness classes, even intergenerational programs. Most of us probably know about our local senior center, but what do you know about them? Do you know they actually work? What makes them provide all their services every day? It's a demanding and often complex task, especially at a time of challenging fiscal constraints. But Andrea and Robin, along with an ensemble of other key members of their senior center team, will give us an insider's view today of just how the job gets done. So Andrea and Robin, welcome to the show.
Hi, Ron. Thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot, Ron. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure. It's sort of an interesting, different kind of show where I, have sort of an ensemble cast. I like this. So, well, first, now that you're on the screen, Robin, and I'll take you first and then Andrea. Tell us a little bit about yourself because this is 45 Forward, and my guests are as interesting as the topics we cover. So I'm going to ask you and then Andrea to give a little capsule view for our audience about how you got to where you are today.
Well, I have to say I've been in the field of working with seniors for over 30, 40 plus years. So, and that's the only thing I've ever done. So right from an aide and an assistant all the way up to an administrator, I've worked on every level of care, and it's just been glorious and wonderful passion of mine, and seeing it realized every day is just, it's a joy and it's a privilege. But, I've done a lot of research. I've been published and I've been around the block a few times. I was a professor at a college for over 17 years and, I still teach now. And so, I do a lot of really, really exciting things with the seniors, finding money for them, which I think is pretty important. But we have an extraordinary team here, and I'm just really honored again to be a part of this team. And this is the first opportunity I've had to really work in a center where the members are healthy and don't need any kind of major supervision, and they function very well and they humble me every day.
Okay. And how about you, Andrea?
Well, I have been in this field for about 16 years. And when I graduated from college, I graduated in a degree of psychology and communications. So I thought, of course, I was going to be a psychologist. And that was my dream. I was going to help the world and be a psychologist. And then I realized that I found a passion working with children with special needs. So I went into that field for about 10 years and I stayed home for a little bit to raise my daughter. And then I just decided to deal with the geriatric population and I wanted to give that a chance. And I said, well, I've dealt with adolescents and I want to see about working with an older population. And I've been here ever since, and I just love it. And the seniors, they teach me so much, and they guide me along the way, and they've opened up my eyes to so many things, and they're just wonderful and so knowledgeable. So it's a blessing to be.
Yeah, I've been working, as you guys know, on a caregiving Navigator guide for family caregivers, mostly for their older loved ones. But over the course of the last few years, as I'm doing it, I realized that there are a lot of similar issues and challenges when dealing with special needs populations and seniors and younger people. And they're all kind of realizing that as part of a spectrum of of issues that it's not just older and younger and that kind of divided sector. So I appreciate that you've got that kind of a background, because I think that, everyone has sort of special needs. And I think that by attending to seniors in that way and just recognizing their special needs, and some of them may have also issues of mental capacities as well. So anyway, so let's just talk a little bit about, let's give us a little bit of a broad overview of, and I'll, with either one of you, we'll start with Robin, of just the kinds of activities that the Senior Center covers.
Everybody here has an incredible skill set. And I think the beautiful part about the Westbury Senior Center that kind of differentiates us from other centers, from what I'm able to observe, is that we're sort of a puzzle, and the skill sets kind of match and mesh beautifully together. So I would love for you to be introduced to the other three people at this table. Okay. Okay.
Hi, I'm Tuesday Jordan. I am the kitchen coordinator here. I've been here for about a year and a half, going on 2 years. I come from a corporate environment. I used to work for Barnes & Noble for 30-something years until COVID. And I worked in the stores as up to manager. So I was on the floor helping people. I've always been a helper. And then I went to working with computers in the corporate office up here. My background is customer service and computer help. That's pretty primarily my background, but also the kitchen part is I studied for a short time at Culinary Academy here in New York, and I'm a pastry. I work pastries, and I cook the pastries in the kitchen. In the kitchen. So that's where I am.
And next, I'm going to move the computer over to Delphine Way.
Okay. Hi, I'm Delphine Way, and I am one of the newer members to the center. I have a background in education. I've taught kindergarten through 6th grade. I retired from the New York City Public Schools in 2018. I also helped my husband run a ministry, which we've done for over 25 years. And once we retired from that, well, he retired. I retired in 2018 from teaching. He retired in 2023 from the ministry. So after that, we embarked upon our own organization called Impact. And that's an organization where we reach out to the community. We service from the birth to almost to the grave, I guess. And we also partner with different organizations. We've partnered with the Senior Center. We've partnered with the Westbury Fire Department, the library, and some of the things we've done are prom dresses for girls. We've done food. We've done toy giveaways. We've done scholarships for educational essays for teens. So that's a little bit about me. I have recently last year taken on the position of the secretary at the Senior Center. I am proud to say that not proud, but the person who was the secretary before me, I believe she was still in her 90s. She was still the secretary, and my challenge was to be as good as she was. We also have a new program here where we are trying to glean some money from people who want to use a center as a place to advertise their businesses. So I'm the one who's in charge of the table, making sure that nobody puts their merchandise on the table without paying.
Great job.
So I'll call them up and say, I saw your merchandise here. You want to give us a few dollars and we'll make sure your merchandise is being seen.
Next is Pat Lentz.
I'm Patricia Lang, and I was a former special needs teacher. I did stay home for many years with my family and to do caregiving of my parents and my in-laws before they passed away. And then I found my way back to this wonderful job, which I really enjoy so much. I've been here since 2013 as the homebound coordinator, as well as the special friends leader, recreational leader. And membership since we have had our pandemic, I then became in charge of the membership dues for our center. So flexible. I do a lot of different things around here. And my group, it does have some special needs. They have some dementia. They have some needs as far as just needing help all day. We do our chair exercises and different things. So we enjoy ourselves. We have a wonderful time together. They look forward to Wednesdays, I think.
Yes, they do.
I mean, we're considered a New York State nutrition center, so we have a lot of guidelines we have to follow, and I'm very proud to say that we're wonderfully in compliant, thanks to the wonderful staff that we have here. But we have the adult cultural and education program. Andrea is phenomenal at getting sponsorships for a lot of our programs, but we run by semesters, classes by semesters, and we've had up to 27 classes per semester, which is extraordinary, I think, for a senior center to have. And many of them are sponsored. So seniors really take advantage of them.
How many members do you have, and how does this work in terms of joining the program?
Anyone can come to the Westbury Senior Center, actually. You can be a resident of Westbury, you can be a non-resident of Westbury, and come for an intake, and you come and you fill out an application, and we do have a very nominal fee that you pay to become a member. And you just make sure that this is the right fit for you. Like I said, anyone is welcome, and all are welcome, basically. We have individuals out of towners. We have individuals that came from Florida that decided to come here and live with their children. And they're just really lucky to have an environment and a place like this, because it really helps them so much in so many ways. We hear so many times of the children that bring their parents here. They said that there's so much isolation that goes on at home because the children are at work full time and the parents are watching television, or they're just basically sitting in a chair and staring at the wall, I've even heard. And like Robin had said, we just offer so much here, so many classes and workshops, nutritional programs. We have trips and travel. They like to go to the casinos, so we really like to do that for them. Anything that they like is what we like to provide for them.
I think that, from what I've heard, one of the challenges of senior centers is that you're so vital and you're almost, a community resource. And yet, I think a lot of people as they get older, they could join, I mean, in my area, you could join, you're 60, or younger. And yet, and this was my mom. She was like, when I suggested it years ago, she's passed away, but at the time she was at home alone. I said, why don't you join the senior center? And she was like, that's for old people. I was like, and so my mom was in her late 70s. I'm like, well, how, come on. So how do you break through that you get that, wait a minute, this is a vital place. This is, I guess you stressed before, just if you just tell them the activities and stress the socialization, because I think that's what, you mentioned a key point. As people get older, that is a key thing where it's great to age in place, but then you're alone a lot of times. If you're not part of an intergenerational family, you're there alone. And sometimes you don't have transportation. So I think you guys offer transportation, don't you?
Yes, we do. We have a bus on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for people that live, I have to apologize, to the village. People that live in Westbury proper. And, a lot of our special friends do take advantage of the bus, which is really nice. So,
If you're unable to drive, a lot of our members also take Able Ride, and they also take the town of North Hempstead bus. We're so lucky to live in the town of North Hempstead. The town provides so much to our seniors, and some of our seniors, they take that bus as well.
Getting back to your question, though, I think the seniors just have to come in for a tour, and all of our members, they have to see the beautiful programs that we have going on. We have 3 floors going on Tuesdays and Thursdays, especially.
all at once.
All at once. So you have to pick and choose which class do you want to go to. Do you want to do the exercise in the main room, which is where the cafeteria area is? Or do you want to do categories, which is in the living room or lounge area? Do you want to do knitting upstairs? Do you want to do your artwork downstairs? So, we have so many things happening, and all the people are just amazing. You see them. They're up to 95 years old doing exercise, maybe seated, but they are doing their exercise and talking and socializing and laughing and carrying on.
Oh.
So it's just really wonderful to watch and to see. So they will not come away saying they're old people, I don't think.
I'll just add on to that. I have one senior here And she's the one who calls me to remind me of the programs that I'm supposed to be in. There's kind of, I've been home. It's just like, Delphine, where are you? They're calling your name. You better get down here.
Yeah.
So these seniors are not seniors that I'm familiar with. These are a different breed of seniors, and I love being around them. I learn so much from them, and I sometimes have to have the energy to keep up with them.
So if they're there to make sure that they want to get out of bed in the morning, it's almost like a cruise ship. So a lot of times somebody will say, right? Somebody will say to me, well, why do you put a program on at 10:30 and then a conflicting program again, another program on at 10:30? All of our teachers are certified teachers, and they all teach elsewhere, whether it be at universities, whether it be at other senior centers, at libraries. So we also have to go with their schedule, what's convenient for them. So sometimes it does conflict, but the seniors always find and they always find what their favorite program is, and it just works.
And they encourage others to attend with them.
Yeah.
Which is hysterical. I think it's so wonderful. And I have to go back to the whole notion of the social connectedness that occurs here, because we know that social connectedness enhances brain health. We already know that. We've tons of research on that already. It slows aging down, 20 to 30% longer life expectancy for those that are socially connected and socially engaged. And I think the thing that we provide our seniors that I guess most people are not aware of is we give them that wonderful third sacred space. Now, they always say we should have 3 spaces in our lives: workspace, home space, and a third space. A third space for our passion, a third space for our spiritual health. And we help provide that third space. We help provide that sacred space. It helps really save so much money, because otherwise these people would probably end up in enhanced care environments than here. And so I really feel so fulfilled in the job that I do here, because I know that I'm really helping. But we also, again, financially and fiscally, we're helping the state, we're helping the government, we really are, because,
Don't go away. We have much more coming back with Andrea Padina and Robin Lombardo and their wonderful crew at the Westbury Senior Center. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you caring for an aging loved one? It can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to do it alone. Ron's book, The Caregiving Navigator, is a step-by-step guide designed to help you plan, prepare, and provide compassionate care with confidence. From organizing family conversations to navigating long-term care and finding support for yourself, The Caregiver, it's all here. Find The Caregiving Navigator now on Amazon and take the first step toward peace of mind.
Okay, welcome back, folks. We're at 45 Forward. I'm your host, Ron Roel. We're talking today with Andrea Padina and Robin Lombardo of the Westbury Senior Center, but also their wonderful crew of members who support the center in multiple ways. I think you must have more than 2 hands apiece. I mean, given the work you do. But anyway, coming back, Andrea, I wanted to talk a little bit about just, the complexity of running an organization. You think, oh, the senior center, but there are just lots of moving parts. There's a board, there's an executive committee, there are volunteers and sponsors. So give us a little bit of a sense of how you keep track of all the pieces.
We wear many hats here, and often we say that we need roller skates because we're always running. It's a staff of 6, so we do have 6 individuals that work for us at the Westbury Senior Center, 2 full-time staff. So we do need many hands, and we do need many volunteers. And luckily, we're very blessed because our members are our volunteers. And they do a fantastic job. We also have a membership executive committee board, and we meet once a month, every first Wednesday of the month, and they do an extraordinary job. They help out tremendously, whether it be, like I said, volunteering. They help with fundraising. One member in particular, she is a whiz at fundraising, and unfortunately, she was not able to make it here tonight, but she does much of our fundraising. We make sure, because of the fact that we are a non-for-profit 501(c), we basically have to fundraise for our salaries and our grants. Thank goodness to Robin. She's our grant guru. That's how and donations. That's how we, the staff, get paid. So this fundraising is very important to us. And our membership executive committee, that's what they help with. They help with the fundraising and they help with running other aspects of the center as well. And we get support from our board of directors as well.
And so are most senior centers, the funding comes from multiple sources, and there's some.
Actually, the funding comes from really just three sources. So it comes from fundraising, donations, and grant writing. And that's why we actually have Robin here, because she is our grant writer and she finds different grants for us to utilize. And our fundraisers range from a bazaar. So we have our bazaar once a year. That's our major fundraiser. And we also have golf outings. We have the very first time we're going to be doing a reverse raffle. So that should be exciting. And we also have bingo night. Every one Friday a month, we do bingo. And that's a fun night. So we have everyone from the community come out to support us. And we play bingo. And we also offer food and great gift cards for prizes. And we also have baskets. We raffle off baskets once a month. Pat's so wonderful. She'll make up baskets for us. And we do anything and everything we can to basically raise money for our center and keep it going and keep it thriving as much as possible. Yes. And we have our wonderful knitters. Our knitters are just fantastic. The jewelry, yes. We have the knitters. We have people that donate used jewelry and we sell that throughout the year. We also have the one individual, like I said, her name is Mary. She makes soups for us and that's a big fundraiser. She sells her soups. She also sells her cakes. Now she's making pickles. So she pickles and she's selling her pickles. Like I said, anything that we can to actually obtain funding, we try. So like you said, it does take many hands because just the staff alone does such a great job, but we just can't run with the staff alone. We have to have our members to volunteer and help out.
Now, for either you, Andrea, or Robin, or any of your team, any surprises that.
Yes, there's many surprises. It's funny because you would think that you'd implement a program and all of a sudden, that's what I was going to say. You implement a program and you're like, oh, so many people want this or so many people inquired about this. And then you implement it and then you have maybe 5 that sign up and 3 that show up and you're like, oh, I thought you liked this program. But we did have hula hooping. We thought that was going to be a big success. It didn't turn out that good. We had other classes as well where we were like, oh, this is going to be great. And then it just was a flop. But you have to dive in and you have to just go for it and see if it's going to work. And even with the presentations, we book a lot of presentations here, nutrition presentations, just different workshops, elder care, attorney workshops, and health and safety workshops, fraud prevention workshops. And sometimes you think, oh, this is such a great workshop because we're getting closer to the holidays and we want to protect everyone. We want to make sure everyone knows what type of fraud there is out there. And then only a couple will show up, or a handful will show up to this, and then more will show up to that. So you just don't know. You're not really sure of what to expect, but it's a learning experience. Everything. I'm still learning. I've been here 16 years and I'm still learning. And it's a very big learning experience. And thank gosh that the team is just so close and we just bounce ideas off of one another and we just work so intuitively with one another and it just works out. That's just together, really.
So I wanted to get back to an important topic, which is food, something that brings people together, right? And it's the social aspect of it. You guys have congregate, meals, right? Yeah. So talk about that because, it's a subject people don't really talk about, but you guys know that there still is a lot of food insecurity, in areas like Long Island, everywhere. And so it provides a certain, it's not just comfort, it's the comfort of food that can bring people together and socialize. So talk a little bit about your stuff and how do you do it? How do you make choices about that?
My choice is to be here. So far as the food, we get a menu, Department of Health from the Department of Health. They give us a menu and it's our job to present it to the people here in the senior center. I enjoy doing that. They don't always like what we have because, selections, everybody has a choice and sometimes they're not good, but everybody eats. So, and it's a good price that is afforded to them for it to eat because it's only $3 a meal.
Suggested donation.
That's just suggested the no donation, but it's just $3. It's like You can't get Burger King. You can't even get a hamburger
Nowadays, no.
for $3. But you get a full meal, and it's a full meal. You get your entree, you get your vegetables, you get your starches, your desserts, and have a dessert. You have a milk, juice. It's like what's that, like 4 or 5 different things. You got a lot of that's a lot of food, and it's good. It's a good meal. It's good time, and people generally like it. Of course, you can always have somebody who's not going to enjoy it as much as others, but it's a good hour to spend in the Westbury Senior Center. Lunch, come for lunch.
I just wanted to say one more thing about the meals. I just wanted to say that a lot of times this meal will be the only meal of a senior's day. So a lot of times the senior will say to me that thank goodness for this entree because I go home and have a yogurt or I go home and have a bowl of cereal. And they'll be honest with me and they'll say to me that I no longer cook anymore because my husband passed away, my wife passed away, and my kids are out of the house. And this is my main meal. And many of our seniors come here to eat their main meal. So it is so vital and so important that we keep up with this lunch program because it really does save the seniors. To be honest. We also have Long Island Cares. They're so generous to us. They do donate bags of food once a month as well. So we're appreciative for their program. That's it.
Yeah, I think that just adding on to that, I think that you guys have talked about, sort of providing a basic environment of health and wellness. And I think your notion of dealing with preventative health, preventative practices. So, it's what I call, when people talk about budgeting, and how much things cost, two things. One is that, I find it interesting that people, when they look at, government budgets, like, well, they say, well, no one, questions the cost of childcare. But elder care, it's just like, well, I don't know, what would that cost? And, for me, it's like, you guys need to think about a higher math, What are the benefits? What's the return on your investment in keeping seniors healthy?
That's what I was saying before. I mean, the average nursing home placement, is like 190,000, over 200,000 a year. I mean, imagine being able to not spend that, you know what I mean, and not have that spent on a senior, because you're able to have preventative measures in place within the community. And this community is a vibrant community. The village of Westbury itself too is a vibrant community. And I just, you just see this all the time. I mean, if somebody walks in to the senior center and is unable to provide even a voluntary donation, we cannot refuse them.
No.
And so that's important. So we're taking care of the needs of those seniors. And I have to dovetail off of what Andrea was saying. Like, this is primarily their only meal, And it's nutrition-based. Nutritionist gives us really good guidelines. So it's healthy.
Yeah. Trust me, they get their goodies. They definitely get their goodies. And I just want to emphasize that no senior ever goes hungry. There are people that literally walk in off the streets sometimes and they ask for a meal, and we do provide that meal to them. If not an entree, because our entree may be given to those that sign up, because all the seniors have to sign up to eat the meal the week before. On Friday, the following. I'm like, oh no. So yes, the Friday before the following week, the senior has to sign up. And if they do not sign up, they still eat. They have to be put on a wait list, but they are always still given a meal. So we never leave any senior hungry here at the senior center.
And you should see our celebration days.
Yeah.
We have celebration day. We have a celebration day once a month where we celebrate like birthdays, and we say, and the food is voluminous. The goodies, ice cream,
desserts. Oh gosh.
out of control.
Yes.
And the seniors just thoroughly, totally enjoy themselves. They're up dancing and carrying on, and having a grand old time. And all the special events that we have once a year. We have the Bar Beach picnic, which they love, and it's fresh made food, and it's just you just get to see this real lovely vibrancy of life. It's really, and I love the music program here. I'm just in love with it. It's called.
I think you mentioned to me that some of your folks got on tour. Go Pat. Let's spin to Pat.
I do go with them twice a year. So in the spring, we have a spring concert. We just finished that in June. And then we sing for 3 or 4 of the assisted living homes in the area. And then also at our senior center. And then in around Christmas, a little before Christmas, we'll have our holiday special. And again, The bus will take some of us will drive separately, and we meet there and sing again all the holiday favorites, and it's really lovely. And the seniors look forward to that. We also do go to the Friends Academy, which is a school nearby in our district, and they love that as well. So the children just have such a ball, and they give us cards when we leave. They give us big Christmas cards signed by all of the little 5-year-olds. And we just, the singing is wonderful. They practice here every week, except for the summertime. But every week they are here Thursday morning singing.
I'm a Harmonaire, and I just want to say that the Harmonaires are very welcoming. You don't have to audition. All you have to do is sign up and say you want to sing. And sometimes someone may hold a note a little longer after the music has stopped, but nobody complains. Nobody points them out and says, you didn't sing that correctly or you came in wrong. So it's very relaxed kind of singing where everybody is enjoying everybody's company. And like I said, anybody can belong, even if you're a little off key. We'll still take them.
And hearing the Harmonaires that are singing below us. And it's just so, like Robin said, it's just such a warm and welcoming feeling. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So on that note, we're going to take another quick break. So folks, we'll be back in 1 minute. We'll be talking much more with the folks at the Westbury Senior Center about other programs and all their singing. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you like what you're hearing? Well, we've got plenty more where that came from. Head over to 45forward.org, where you'll find a full archive of over 200 episodes of the 45 Forward podcast, all hosted by Ron. Each week, Ron talks with fascinating guests, experts, advocates, and everyday folks, sharing insights and stories to help you live a better, fuller life in your second half. We cover everything from health and caregiving to careers, relationships, and finding purpose. Whatever helps you move forward with clarity and confidence. That's 45forward.org. Check it out and keep moving forward. 45 Forward.
Welcome back, folks. This is Ron Roel with 45 Forward. We've been talking today with the folks from the Westbury Senior Center on Long Island about what it takes to run a modern senior center on Long Island, and actually anywhere, because I'm sure that every place is sort of its own character, but I think there's a lot of similarities across centers. And before the break, we were talking about music, and I know that, Robin, you've been very involved with music programs for those with dementia, but it's a broad, I think we're just learning a lot about the role of music in terms of, really feeding your soul. I mean, I think you guys before talking, one of you, I'm not sure if it was Delphine, I forget who, was talking about sort of it's a ministry and the sense of what you're doing. So talk a little bit more about music and then how you work across the generations of music.
Well, I have to be honest. I'm not downstairs because we have 3 floors and our office is 3rd floor. But going downstairs and watching the members do Zumba or do soul line dancing, or their whole entire souls are enlivened and awakened, and they, and they're laughing and they're leaving in such a tired, maybe exhausted, but tired space.
Not too exhausted to play mahjong and listen to music while playing mahjong and just have a very relaxing and nice. Everyone's laughing because Tuesday is mahjong day. And one of the members brings in her speaker and they just listen to music, play mahjong, play cards, and you go downstairs, and after you're working on the computer and dealing with all sorts of stuff upstairs, you just go downstairs and you feel like this just decompression that comes over you just by listening to the music that they're listening to. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
And what about, we started to touch on intergenerational programs.
We have one grant right now that we're working on with the Westbury School District. We're very proud of that grant. And we do a lot of intergenerational things, like Pat, for instance. She did the reading of the birthday for Dr. Seuss, right?
Sure.
I think Delphine, you were involved in that
Yes,
too.
she was.
Yeah. You can see the picture of her with her little cat in the hat on while she was reading and the kids loved it. They loved it. And Tuesday did a class. Does a class for the computers, for the seniors, come over and help. The seniors in the high school, Westbury High School, come over and help. And that's just really so nice to see. And they they feel really like useful and helpful. And oh, that's right. This summer we have a lot of the students coming in and serving
We
lunch.
also had a lot of the children come over and do karaoke with the seniors and celebrate the holidays with the seniors and just sit with them and had a conversation about traditions. So the students spoke about their tradition and the senior also spoke about their tradition with the students. So we tried to do a lot of intergenerational programming here within the senior center.
Yeah, I think that that's important because, well, I think for a number of reasons. Number one, as society has progressed, we've have an approach of specialization where we segment younger people and older people, which is not the way communities have been traditionally formed and sustained. And so I think, you lose a lot of that communication between generations, that sort of passage of stories and information and perceptions. I think that one of the things that I've talked to people about in other places as well, these I want to say intergenerational. I talk about multi-generational or just inter-age programs because it's maybe, I don't know what generation, it could be many generations, but that, that it's important to break down stereotypes. I mean, one of the persistent issues that you guys deal with is the issue of ageism. And I think that by bringing together younger and older, I'm involved with the Grey Panthers of New York City, which is, and I always look when I was younger and I heard about the Great Panthers, I thought as well that was for seniors, but it was actually the mission of the group is older and younger together, and I think that's really important notion because we're just too sectored and siloed, and I think that doesn't help us. It doesn't help us communicate. Doesn't help us, enjoy life as a community.
Yeah, I like to call it transgenerational. I like to use that word because I see, and then there's been a lot of research that's saying that there's more commonality between the millennial generations and the seniors over 60 than in any other two generations combined. There's been a lot of research on the way that they view life and the way that they accept advice from each other, which I thought is very interesting. So there's been a lot of really interesting research on that they seem to have, it's almost like this camaraderie skipped a generation. There's some kind of transgenerational kind of matching of needs, wishes, and how they process information and how they learn and how they share, which is also very interesting because you would think, well, that this generation is more digital friendly, but that's not necessarily the case now. Things are changing very frequently and very fast, where we're learning from each other and, helping each other and understanding each other better. If we can do anybody, any little bit of that is great. And again, because they learn that age does not define you. A number does not define you whatsoever. And they'll learn that, oh, wow, even though that person is 90, I don't know, they're like my best friend a lot. Vice versa. Age does not define you.
Members that actually just wrote books, and they are two of my members, and I don't want to say their age because I would never want to do that to them, but they're older and they wrote very beautiful books. And one book is composed of all of the seniors' poetry. That's just gorgeous. And she just got it published. And another one of the books is about one of the seniors' fathers. That's right? Fathers. No, that's okay. His father, his life in Jamaica. Am I correct? Yes, his life in Jamaica. And they did this later in life. And it's just incredible. It's incredible. It was so inspiring to see that.
Yeah, those kinds of stories I think are important to, pass along to people. As we pass to you, go ahead.
Those two members, as well as quite a few others, were also involved in basically running a special event for us. One was for two different ones were for Black History Month, I would say, right? So we had, she did the fashion show. We've had the book itself was, and we spoke about the Jamaican culture, and we had Jamaican Speak was last year. Yes. But we have a lot of very talented people in our center that are not afraid to come up and take an hour, or it goes, a lot of time it runs over that, and we could have 120 people in our one room that really is overpacked. but everyone wants to come and see what this is all about, and what they learn from each other, and they just are so interested. We have so many folks that are from different areas of the world, and they love to speak about it, talk to others about it. When a new member comes in, they tell them, oh, we're from such and such, we're from this town, and everyone, they just love to, to be involved with each other, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I think that, yes, now we're using technologies where I'm in a different place talking with you. At the same time, that human connection is really, you guys have talked about it, and that being able to congregate, not just for meals, but for talk and learning, and that kind of connectedness, I think, is a really valuable service. A lot of it has to be semi-organized, but also informal. People can just really, improvise in their relationships and really take advantage of things they don't expect. But I think that's a really important function. And we miss that today. I think we're so technologically sourced and separated. Social media is not that social. It can be pretty antisocial. But when you're in person, that's when you really learn about the other people and you can be authentic, and
You need a history book. They've lived through it. They know what this is like. They know what this experience was like. And there's no way you can find that in a book. Tuesday is one of our writers. We have a writing group, writing club. And last year we did this wonderful cultural arts program called Seasoned. They're we have some amazingly talented artists.
Yes.
Who did, and they did readings, and then we showed the artwork, which was just art came with paragraphs of what it's about, and and the Harmonaires sang at the opening, which was nice. So we got to see the music and the arts and the fine arts and just all together what we have to offer. The Westbury Arts Council, and so well
For sculpting class, a drawing class, painting, jewelry making, writing, and a lot of the seniors, once they've retired, that's when they decided, you know what, I've raised my family and now it's me time, and I'm going to see if I like these classes. And all of a sudden they get into these classes and they realize that they've had such hidden talents all along, but they were not able to zone into them because of the fact that they've been so busy working full time and raising a family. And now they're coming up with these gorgeous pieces of sculpture and paintings and just drawings. It's just incredible. I'd go downstairs and I said, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. How long have you been an artist for? Just a couple of years, and I just can't get over it because it looks like they've been drawing and painting and doing this for years and years. So it really is incredible to see.
I thought to myself, wow, this is pretty amazing, because I think for some of our seniors, it's their time.
Right.
It's my time now.
Exactly. And it should
time
be.
for me, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that it's important, though, that you're pointing out that these talents, you continue to grow all the way through life. And these things come out. And I've had people on my show. I had a very successful woman who she was a corporate trainer and an entrepreneur. And then she decided that when she was done with that, she wanted to do what she had wanted to do since she was 9, was in Catholic school, and no one had any expectations of her. She wanted to be a novelist. And at the age of 69, she published her first historical mystery. So, it can, what your folks are doing is just, to me, a testament to the fact that we continue growing all the way through life. So listen, we've covered a lot of territory. I would like to, I'm going to take one more quick break because I would like to have a shorter, but I would like to have a wrap-up session where we can go around the table again and get some final thoughts. So folks, when we come back, we'll have one more dynamic session with our great group from the Westbury Senior Center. So don't go away.
Caring for a loved one can feel overwhelming. That's why we created CaregivingNav.com, your personal guide through the complex world of caregiving. It's a free, interactive website built around the Caregiving Navigator book, with tools designed to make your journey easier. Whether you're planning ahead, managing care right now, or navigating a crisis, you'll find step-by-step advice, trusted resources, and over a dozen downloadable checklists. From legal planning to home safety, from medical decisions to emotional support, it's all here, all in one place. Just visit caregivingnav.com because you're not alone on this path, and the help you need is just a click away.
So, folks, once again, welcome back to 45 Forward. Your host, Ron Roel. I'm here with you, talking with Andrea Padina and Robin Lombardo and her wonderful crew from the Westbury Senior Center on Long Island. We've been talking a lot about what it takes to run a modern center. We've had a lot of interesting stories, which are always the centerpiece of these places. And at the last segment, we were talking about the people being politically active and getting out there. And I think that's important. One of the things that I've talked about to advocates about, they say, well, what do we need? And I think what I hear more and more is that older folks, I don't even like to say seniors, older folks need to hear their voices heard. So what do you want to say to those and when you in terms of your needs, in terms of your wants, in terms of your hopes and dreams, what do you want those in positions of authority or in positions of distributing funds? What do you want them to know? I'll start with you, Andrea.
We're nervous because we're hearing down the pipeline that this may get cut, that grant may get cut, and that really terrifies us because with that happening, we are in a big problem here. So the legislators have been so kind to us in the past, and they've really helped us so much. And we just want them to know that please continue to support and continue to help us because this is where the seniors want to be, and we want to be here as well, and we want to be able to provide this for them.
Well, as Robin started to say earlier too, this is where we're all going. We're all getting older, and I think that there's a certain amount of denial about this in our society, and so I like to emphasize that these are not handouts. They're grants, but they're not handouts. And I think that if people think of them in terms of investments, you're investing in keeping your older population engaged, healthy, productive. There's been a lot of work done on, what they call the 50 plus economy and how much older people contribute to the economy, even financially and economically in ways, no disrespect toward younger people, but this is where the money is.
Now the seniors are at the top and there's really no support for them. So we've kind of reversed that whole pyramid. And, most of the research indicates that 75% of health occurs within the community, not in an office setting. So if you think about that, 75% of health, and there's a lot of health going on here. There's a lot of good health going on here. And seniors don't disappear when they get older. They often think they do. But this is a place where they don't have to disappear. They don't have to become gone, visible and purposeful and meaningful. And it enhances the entire community, not just the senior, him or herself. And it's hard because when you're writing grants, lots of times the grants will delineate exactly what the money is supposed to be used for. And sometimes it's not always the things that you really need. Sometimes it's not things, sometimes it's payroll, sometimes it's other things. But it's and it's very difficult because, the landscape for grants have changed tremendously. And I think with the new administration, I think the landscape has changed also. So, making sure that the funding, we're a zero-based budget. So we have what we have. We don't have above what we have. Thank God we don't have below what we have, but pretty much we have what we have. And so to lose grants is a huge issue for us because something's got to go.
Well, my final thought is the fact that I'm so appreciative for what we have. I'm appreciative for our members. I'm so appreciative for my staff. It takes a village, and I'm just so blessed to have what I have. And also, I just wanted to put it out that I wanted to thank my donors because we do have a lot of people, including our members, that are wonderful donors to our senior center. And we're always willing to take donations, and that means so much. That could definitely be a tax write-off. So if anybody would ever like to donate to the Westbury Senior Center, they could always, we have a website, we have a Facebook page, and personally they can call me, I can speak with them, and I can definitely guide them towards doing that. But I just wanted to just be so thankful for what we have and our seniors, and keep on revving our little engine. And I'm now going to pass it on to Tuesday.
Westbury Senior Center, seniorcenter.org is the website. I'm just hoping and thankful to be able to serve in the capacity that I do here at the Senior Center. My thought is to just be able to continue to give service in a joyful way, because that's the way I like to do it.
My thoughts are, I've lived in Westbury. We moved here in the year 2000. And at that time, I was working in Queens and, raising a family. So I didn't really know a lot of the neighborhood. I didn't know a lot of the residents in Westbury. It wasn't until I retired in 2018 and I needed to find something to do that I joined the Senior Center. And it was there that I met so many people that are from the community. And in June, our organization, Impact Outreach, we presented the Senior Center with fish fry and a barbecue for the members free of charge. And we did it the year before, and we had about 30 members come. But this year we did it again, and it was about 70 members that came. And we had singing, we had all kinds of food items for them free of charge. And I can say that because of the Senior Center that I have gained at least 70 or more friends. And it's just a community. And I also know that there are people moving into the community and they're coming in for the first time, and I'm meeting them at the center and they'll say, oh, I just moved here from Brooklyn, or I just moved here from another community. And so they're coming to the center, and this is a place where they will find friendship here and something to always do.
I feel very blessed with everyone around me here. Our staff is fabulous. We have such very kind and spiritual people, I have to say, for the most part. I have been to more churches and more services because I was invited. And I went to so many different things, whether it was for a funeral or for just a Women's Day. Find that we have very giving there are members that are always donating to a lot of the problems that are happening in the world, to different groups that we have tried to help, Alzheimer's as well as veterans and so forth. And they also are just giving of themselves, always looking after someone else in this membership. They're always saying, what has happened to so-and-so? Can you call them if they don't have the phone number? Or we have a card writing staff of folks that are just volunteers, the same with the calling. And others just visit them that are homebound. It's really a beautiful, beautiful community.
I just wanted to say another thing. I didn't really get a chance because I'm complaining about being the grant writer, always complaining about not having enough money. But we do have some wonderful grants that our senators, Senator Levine and Senator Bino, the Village, Nassau County, Senator Thomas, New York State Department of Aging, and the school district. We do have Town of North Hempstead, huge, yeah. Huge. So we have a lot of wonderful people that we do work with that provide grants for us, that without which,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah, well, I think that, we talk about it takes a village all the time, and it really does take a village. And so, I want to thank you very much for these insights and these stories. And as my final thought, I just wanted to mention that many people know that I wrote this what I call a manual on family caregiving called a Caregiving Navigator. And so I look at the work that you do, and to me it's a broad sense of caregiving, of how do we care for each other as we get older. And there's individual family caregiving, but this is community caregiving. So I applaud you for that, and thank you for your work. Any last thoughts, Andrea, and then I'll have a sign off.
Well, Ron, this was a wonderful opportunity for us. I want to thank you so much.
Thanks again to all the folks at the Westbury Senior Center. Again, this is your host, Ron Roel. Thank you for spending this time with me and helping to make our journey through the second half of life even better than the first, which is my tagline. Be sure to join me next time. We're going to have another podcast coming up after this one. I think you'll find interesting. I'll be talking with a man named Jack York, who is the founder of Tailgate. He travels thousands of miles every year talking to seniors and most notably centenarians, people over 100, sharing their stories with the world. Until then, folks, keep moving forward, 45 forward.